Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's March 31st, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always every morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day presented by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And Matt, yesterday the time was now for all of the Miami Hurricanes hoping to be drafted into the National Football League, or in many cases get free agent tryouts in pro camps this summer. And so we were out there. We watched all the action, and I got to be honest, it was one of the tamer pro days that we've seen in quite some time. Bill Belichick wasn't there. No NFL head coaches were there. I don't believe any GMs were there. It was, predominantly just scouts from each team, just checking out the Miami players, doing their due diligence and homework. And I walked away from there with a few things. I knew a few of the scouts and was able to have some private discussions with them and stuff. And the one thing that I was told is that even though that this was a watered down pro day at Miami, it was better than Florida State, and that the talent at Miami is better than the talent at Florida State. So that was encouraging to hear. And the other thing that I heard pretty much universally, Matt, was that there only figured to be 2 Canes drafted, really, Bubba Bolden and Charleston Rambo. And everybody else could potentially be looking at free agent possibilities for this year. I know there's a couple that are hoping to crack into the end of the draft, possibly, rather than end up as free agents. Guys like Amari Carter, John Ford, Mike Harley, but I don't know that it's looking so great. And it's kind of like what we knew. Like, we knew there wasn't a lot of elite talent in the program, but it really hits home on pro day.
This is a gap in your soliloquy where I get to speak. Thank you. I was very, very, very upset, disheartened, fill in the adjective with pro day. I told Gary I was not going to cover it. There's no talent that's going to the NFL. I refused to go. And he said, listen, they're going to have bagels, Nova. They're going to have mimosas. He named every food that I like, stone crabs. And he said, it's pro day. This is what they do for the media on pro day. So I show up. There's nothing. They shoved me into this. First they make me wait for half an hour outside with the riffraff that calls themselves the rest of Miami media. I don't usually hang out with these people. Who are these people? They're not at our level, Gary. We're forced to hang out with this riffraff. TV people, beat writers, some person who actually writes for the University of Miami website that used to be.
I hope they don't watch this show.
I hope they watch this show. Listen, I know they don't watch this show because I tell them don't watch this show. I said, you don't want to watch this show, because then we could just badmouth them. That's why I tell them that. Then, after waiting for a half an hour outside with the riffraff, we get herded inside like a bunch of cattle, forced to line up at some desk where some poor elderly lady is supposed to, I guess.
Oh my God, she wasn't elderly. I hope she doesn't watch this show either. You're offending everybody this morning.
I needed a passport, my social security card, and my birth certificate, right? That's what you'd expect. If you're going into the IPF top secret facility there where they're building this amazing program, right? You've got to have some identification, right? No, this lady sits there, doesn't even look at you. She just sits there. I don't even know why she's there. You write down your name. I could have written down that I was Albert Einstein from, make up some, I can't even think right now, from Mad Magazine, okay? I'm Albert Einstein from Mad Magazine, and I'm covering pro day, and she would have been fine with it because I wrote down whatever I wanted. She hands me a credential, and I'm off to the races, and that was it. I don't understand. There was no food, no herd crowd management, forced to hang out with the riffraff. It was quite honestly the worst day of my life, Gary Ferman. And it's your fault, making me cover that thing for 5 hours.
It was a long time out there, no doubt about it. But Matt, your thoughts on just what you saw Uh,
I don't want to talk about it. It's like, do you want to talk about your nightmares when you wake up in the morning? I have no interest in talking about pro day.
All right, well then I'm going to talk about it. You just be quiet.
Lord. Okay.
Let's take these guys, pretty quickly here, one by one. Bubba Bolden, he ran at the NFL Combine, so he didn't do the 40 today. He'd already put up a 4.47. He's not doing better than that, so he had nothing to gain, so he didn't run. Really skipped most of the events. Did some of the field work at the end. He tested at 9.10 in the broad jump. Did 15 reps of 225. That was good. And he's
Gary, none of them are being drafted except for maybe one or two guys. Let's talk about those guys.
Bubba's going to get drafted.
I'm talking about. You said you want to run through all of them. Don't run through all of them.
I didn't say. I'm right now. I'm talking about Bubba Bolden.
All right, listen. Let's do Bubba.
Oh my
Rambo.
God.
And that's it,
dude. Do we have to give you your sleeping pill over again?
I mean, it's just like reliving something from yesterday that I have no interest in reliving. It was. I've been to really good pro days.
All right.
Let me tell you something. Mario Cristobal didn't even want to be associated with this. It was just like there's no talent there. It was bad. It was
okay,
bad.
Now you're offending all the players too. So I'm going to put you on mute for a few minutes so we don't have to listen to you while I talk about pro day, because I think some people out here are interested in pro day. So Bubba Bolden, okay, he tested and did everything at the combine, and didn't really need to do a lot yesterday, but he participated in some of the drills. He did okay. Pretty good chance that he'll get drafted. Okay. Amari Carter, probably he didn't. I don't think he ran well enough to get drafted. I mean, you can't run 4.65 in the secondary in the NFL anymore. I mean, the receivers are too fast, and maybe he'll get a free agent opportunity. I don't know that he'll get drafted. But I mean, he did 14 reps at 225. That was okay. He did really well in the vertical. He had 39.5, and he had an 11.0 broad jump.
You do know I can unmute myself whenever I want, right?
My God!
Just to make sure you know, I have the power.
Wait a minute. There's got to.
You can't unmute me. You guys get rid of me.
Oh my God! What do I have to remove you from the show next?
I think so. I can't listen to more pro day stuff.
All right, I'll go quickly. Okay, Navon Donaldson did not have a great day. Ran 5.69 in the 40. Did not do the 225 testing. He was okay. 21-inch vertical, whatever. He's going to be fortunate to be a free agent. John Ford is trying to sneak into the late rounds of the draft. He was in the best shape I know I've ever seen him. Obviously, very motivated to because of the draft, but he didn't run particularly well. 5.45. The numbers were just okay. I don't know that he'll get drafted. We'll see. Mike Harley ran very well, 4.46. We actually clocked him in the 4.3s, but his official times with the NFL scouts was in the 4.46 range. He did well in the bench, 16 reps of 225. He had a 35.5 vertical, 10.2 broad jump. He was happy with his day, and I don't know that he has a chance to get drafted because of his size, but the consensus that I got was that he will probably get a free agent shot. So that would be good for Mike if he could get into a camp as a free agent. Cam Harris didn't do a whole lot coming off the injury. He didn't run the 40. He's widely expected to be a free agent. DeAndre Johnson, I didn't think tested well at all. He is not gonna. He probably will not even get into a camp. The real stunner of the day, and Matt, I want you to come back and talk about this, if you will, was De'Ara King running. We had him clocked at 4.7. They got him at 4.65. But I think when we watched De'Ara King, the football player, we would have said that this guy is running at least 4.5, right? I mean, I was kind of surprised at his test numbers today.
I mean, you have to remember we haven't seen him play since game 3. I don't know if he's added weight or what's going on with him. He did not look particularly fast, but look, I'll say this is why I'm disappointed, because I'm not a big fan of having pro days where you might get one or two guys in late rounds. It's just not a good look for a school. It's just disappointing.
I agree with you.
We knew it was coming. I mean, this is what it is. It's not fun to cover it. It's not fun to talk to 8 guys, 6 of whom are not getting drafted, and one of whom I heard from somebody today who's pretty close to stuff who says Rambo won't even be drafted now. He's just not running fast enough. He's not a physical guy. If you're running running the times he's run and you're not physical, you don't have that much of a chance sometimes. So it's just not a good look. The good news is this is not Mario's players. This is not Mario's fault. It shouldn't affect recruiting. And I think that's what I talked about yesterday, going into this pro day event that had no food whatsoever.
But I agree with you. It's not a good look when none of your guys are getting drafted high, when there's no head coaches or GMs that feel it's important enough to be there. But it is what it is. And I do think that you're right, that people know that this is a program in transition right now, and that it won't necessarily be held against Miami, that it had a pretty ho-hum pro day. But it's got to get better in the future, and it will get better in the future. And I don't have any reservations saying that. King was okay, throwing the ball. That's not really a problem for him. He's I don't know that he has an NFL arm or anything like that, but he was fine.
Yeah, he only threw a few deep balls, and he overthrew 2 of them, which wasn't great.
Yeah,
but he's got a good enough arm. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback, but maybe he could be some sort of triple threat returner / receiver /
he's not fast enough.
Wildcat. I don't think it'll happen, but that's what he's hoping.
Yeah, he's just not fast enough. It pains me to say that. I thought I would have expected him to run 4.5, like I said, but running mid 4.6s, and like I said,
he was asked for a comparison to himself, and he mentioned Jarvis Landry, which he's not Jarvis Landry.
No,
I don't know why he said that.
He's the nicest kid in the world, man. He's such a nice kid. You want the best for D.R. King, but we're here to talk about reality, and I don't think he walked out of pro day with very high draft prospects. We'll see if he gets a free agent deal. Zach McLeod, Matt, I thought did decent out there. I mean, he ran as fast as D.R. King, which that tells you right there. He did 17 reps at 225. His vertical was decent at 33.5, 9.10 broad jump. I don't know that he could have done much better. I mean, and most teams are looking at him as a linebacker who can, that he could drop into coverage and also get after the quarterback a little bit. I don't think he'll get drafted, Matt, but I do think that Zach McLeod earned himself an invite to a camp today.
I mean, McLeod and Amari Carter were the 2 guys who probably shined the most, but neither are going to be drafted. I was talking to another reporter about Amari a little bit, and he sort of reminded me, you remember the Weaver brothers who looked the part? I mean, they looked like they should have been all worldly, and they ran 4.3s, and they were big and physical, but they never could do much. And that's sort of Amari Carter. Like, he looks good in testing, and he's one of these just test guys, and then you put him on the field, and it's just stiff and not real instinctive and takes bad angles, and it's a shame when you see a guy who does have that kind of potential that just has never really gotten it going. But those are the 2 guys I would say, if you're going to pick anybody who sort of was a surprise, quote unquote, a pleasant surprise, I should say, it would be those 2.
All right, and we talked about Rambo. A lot of different opinions on him. He ran 4.53, had a 33.5 vertical, 9.10 broad jump. Some people think he'll be a mid to late round selection. Others think he is going to go as a free agent. I think any of the above could end up being true. We have no idea. I mean, when you put on his football tape from last season, it was pretty good. But a lot of people will poo-poo it, say it was in the ACC, and that he doesn't have the speed to play receiver in the NFL. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the answer is.
I mean, he's a bit of a long strider. So 40 times probably don't do him justice, and he was quick to point that out to the media afterwards, to say that 40 times don't really mean a lot. that cornerbacks would think they're fast or slow against him is basically what he said. And Bubba Bolden says he's the best safety in the draft. These guys are full of confidence. They got the swagger. I think they'll get a chance, just probably not as a drafted player. And they've just got to take the bull by the horns and get the job done with wherever they get into camp. That's all.
The guy that I thought was right there as maybe the most disappointing of the day was Jared Williams. I mean, this is a guy that started 10 games each of the last 2 seasons at right tackle. And I guess he's got a strained pec muscle that kept him from performing in the bench. He only did 9 reps, which, I mean, I guess he'll be able to use the strained muscle as an excuse, but that's not going to wow the scouts by any stretch of the imagination. He ran 5.19 in the 40. He'll be lucky to get a free agent tryout. Let's be honest.
The only thing I'll say, we've seen a lot in the past of guys who would finish their senior season or junior season and go pro, and we'd see that would be the end of December. They'd maybe even start the bowl game, and then we'd see them again 4 months later, right? Which is where we're at, which was where we are, and they look like a different guy. We'd be like, "Oh my, why didn't he do this when he was at Miami?" None of these guys look different to me. I mean, they all look the same. I don't know what they've been doing, but something was missing between the end of the season and whatever they did to get here. I don't understand it. Like Navon Donaldson looked just completely out of shape. Sorry, Navon. I mean, that's just the truth. I'm not going to lie to people.
I totally agree. That's one offensive comment that I'll let you make it all.
My other offensive comments were all true. There was no food at the freaking thing. Okay, that was true. There was no food. It was an older lady. She was older than me.
Working the desk, elderly.
You said she's not elderly. I'm old. She's older than me. That makes her elderly. I'm sorry. That's a fact. If you're older than me, you're elderly. Just don't ask me my age. And on top of that, the best part of the whole thing for me was, saying hello to Braxton Berrios and seeing Brevin Jordan and talking to Jaquan Johnson for a while and seeing Brian Monroe. And it's just nice to sort of see that Cane family come back. And I think they were as distraught as we were. I saw they didn't stay for very long, some of them. I actually saw a Dolphins scout walk out halfway through the drills, like just sneak out through the side door. I mean, I said to one of the TV guys, I said, it's not going well when a Dolphins scout's leaving in the middle of the drills, So
they're not drafting any of those guys.
Yeah, it's a waste of time. I mean, look, I understand. It's just, again,
they
it's
just traded all their draft picks.
It's disheartening.
They don't have draft picks.
I'm a negative person anyway. This is why I didn't want to talk about it, because everyone's messages this morning are going to be, Matt's so negative. Oh my gosh, he hates the program. No, I'm just telling you the truth. That's why I didn't want to talk about this, because I didn't want everyone bashing me for being negative. It's just the truth, man. It was a bad pro day. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm not going to lie to people and say it was great.
I will be your shield in the fiercest battle. I'll defend you.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Cleveland Reed, and I play offensive line, and my job is to protect. I protect my family with Life Wallet. How about you?
Of course I got Life Wallet. It's the best way to protect my family.
Long as we go together, we'll die whenever. Be a light, couldn't let the darkness try you ever. Truth in my word, you I lie to never.
To protect you and your family, get Life Wallet now.
Life Wallet. Saving time, saving lives.
No food,
Well,
very little talent, and I was with the riffraff.
I'll tell you what the highlight of Pro Day was. It was what was going on outside of Pro Day, and that was visits from a couple 4-star players from the state of Georgia that was going on. And yes, we do have.
By the way, they did not let those guys anywhere near Pro Day. I swear it's true. They're like, yeah, they wouldn't let us watch it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they didn't take those guys anywhere near Pro Day. It's
Classic.
true. It's true. Do you blame them?
Well, I mean, there's some former players there, but whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, we're talking about Terence Love. He's a 4-star defensive back from Fairburn, Georgia. He visited yesterday, toured the campus, met some of the coaches, spent some time with Mario Cristobal. So we've got a story about all that on the website this morning. And one of his teammates, a 4-star tight end athlete by the name of Jelani Thurman, joined them on the visit and got the same royal treatment, toured the campus, met the coaches, spent some time with Mario. All the reviews were really good on that front. Like I said, the story.
Every recruit I've talked to loves if they've been here for practice, loves the practices. They all love the staff. They all love the campus. They all love the vision. They all love the plan. I mean, everything is great. But again, me, let's get them, get them committed, get them signed, win some games. Then Matt Shodell is no longer the curmudgeon. I'm the fun mudgeon who enjoys everything. Okay. I'm going to be a fun mudgeon if they can do what I think they can do.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on because, there's there's obviously it's legendary how hard Mario works everybody, and we see all these recruits coming through, and how much action there is on a daily basis. But I was like on Twitter today, and I'm looking for it right now so I can maybe show it real quick. But I don't know. I'll try to look for it. But there was a video of Josh Gaddis getting his hair cut in the middle of the day that I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, I'll have to try to find that. I'm not seeing it right now, but anyway, so we've got stories on those 2 recruit visits on the website today, and also a story about a 4-star Massachusetts linebacker by the name of Ronan Hannafin, who's going to be visiting Miami and is very interested in.
He did visit Miami.
He did visit, rather. Yeah, right. Yeah. He visited Miami and is very interested and had some real good things to say. So we've got that story on the website today as well. And then, of course, this morning practice resumes on Green Tree Practice Field as the team continues its mission to get better, so that next year's pro day is considerably better than this year's pro day, Matt. And I guess this is now practice number 8 of 15 this spring. It's the middle of spring practice, hump day, so to speak, today. And I think it's time to start raising the expectations of what you're expecting to see out on the practice field.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited because you told me if I come out this morning and cover it, it's going to be lots of food, bagels, muffins, breakfast cakes. I can't wait. It's going to be a great practice. Yeah, look, we've seen some glimpses here and there, but we just haven't seen enough with really the kids. I hate saying kids now because of you guys out there in the Twitterverse and YouTubeverse. The young men out there who are still somewhat learning the offensive playbook, the defensive playbook, which, by the way, is not even fully installed, and maybe it shouldn't be 8 practices in. So they're not running at full speed yet on either side of the ball, which is okay. But what I'd like to start seeing in this practice, if we get to view 11 on 11, which we weren't able to view anything last practice. So if we get to view 11 on 11, I'd like to see some guys start making some plays one-on-one down the field. I'd like to see the offensive line or defensive line sort of do more than what they've been doing, which just seems to be rushing straight up the field. I haven't seen many stunts or games or anything up front in defense. They're just like, yeah, just beat your guy one-on-one. And that doesn't show you a lot sometimes when it's the same guys going against the same guys. So I'd like to see some nuanced things starting today. We are more than halfway through the spring. I think they need to get this stuff on tape. They only have so many practices left and before the spring game. If they're going to scrimmage, honestly, if they're going to scrimmage this Saturday and next Saturday, which you expect them to, and then the spring game, as scary as it sounds, there's only 4 practices left that are practices that are not scrimmages. So you have a very limited amount of time to get more on tape for the summer to show, not just to show you what you have and what you need, maybe in the transfer portal or beyond, but also to show these players what they need to do over the next, 3 months before fall drills would start.
All right, so I'm going to get ready to go out there. Should I bring you breakfast?
You got the hint. Did something I say make you decide to bring breakfast?
I can't have you coming out to practice representing CaneSport insulting everybody.
This is what happens.
Credentials. I mean, the poor lady working security is going to say, he called me elderly.
She doesn't watch this. I wake up with low blood sugar after covering that pro day, and this is what you get. We should not be taping anymore the day after pro day, okay? Period. It's just I am not in the right state of mind to tape.
I can go over to that little convenience store over there. They sell Cuban pastries. You want a few Cuban pastries?
You know what? I don't know if I trust you delivering my food. I'm going to get my own food this morning. After this show, I'm not sure I trust anybody delivering my food. I'd be worried. Someone's going to tamper with my food. It could be any media member. It could be the elderly lady who apparently isn't so elderly. Might even be you after you had to turn off my microphone and then I went back and unmuted myself using my own discretion. So I don't trust anybody anymore to give me any food or drink. I will handle my own breakfast, Gary, but thank you in advance for asking.
All right, well, if Matt Shodell gets banned from Green Tree this morning, I promise you I will be there for practice. Hopefully they don't lump me in with him. I did not insult anybody. Let the record show I was a well-behaved guy on this show this morning, so please don't revoke my credentials as well. if he earned that himself. So that's going to do it for this morning. We're off to practice. We'll have coverage later this morning around lunchtime. So look for that. So for a cranky Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us on Good Morning CaneSport this morning. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.